Hey guys, it's Frank coming to you live here from GolfTraxx, and we're here today to show you a patent pending functionality that GolfTraxx has developed for the express purpose of making information that we provide more and more accurate across a couple of different fronts. And I'm going to just take you through a little demo of that today. So what you're looking at here, an application that I built that it leverages a Google API called the Reverse Geocode API. And what that does is it returns coordinates, GPS coordinates, for an address. So the red dot you see on each course represents what's returned by Google's API for a particular address. And then what the application does is it sets the green center flags for a course on each green, and then calculates distance in yards and headings to each of the greens for that course. Well, why would you do that? Why would you care? Well, one of the things that you'll discover if you ever have the occasion to collect courses from contributors over many years is sometimes addresses are obtained incorrectly, or sometimes, for whatever strange reasons, the wrong course is found. And so the initial idea design was to identify courses where the distance from the reverse geocoded address, the coordinates, and the pins for the course were way off. And that's working. And when it finds them, we now have a way, because it records these distances in yards and the headings to each pin into the database as we do these. It does it on an automated fashion. And then it's simply a matter of taking the database and ranking the courses by where the distances are greater than X. And here's a course where it appears that we've got missing coordinates, so we will get that corrected and then we'll be back. So the question came up, well, why do you guys see the need to do this wireframe Hubspoke project where you're reverse geocoding each address into coordinates and comparing it with the coordinates that you receive for the course? What I just want to show you is just a simple example of how it happens to everybody, even the biggest in our business, like Golf Advisor. So here we are. We have this course named Friendly Valley, and as you screen, the address of it is in New Hall, California, in Los Angeles County. That's an LA area code phone number, so everything looks good so far. Let's have a look at the course layout. So up it comes here, and so you can't really tell initially where that might be. It's pretty green though for most parts of California, except maybe the mountains. So why don't we just go ahead and put some labels on it and zoom out of it. Highway 151 in Barnville. Not sounding much like California yet. We zoom out a little further, looking very green for California. So here we are, we have Mount Horeb, Vermont, Ridgeway, and Dodgeville. The only thing possible that could be California is Highway 92, but not looking much like it. There's a Madison. Madison, I know, is in Wisconsin. So as is Wanakee, as far as I know. And there's Milwaukee, so sure enough, this is not a California course at all. So the GPS coordinates that they have stored for this course are just plain wrong. So as we've seen, one of the big and primary benefits of the wireframe Hubspoke that GolfTraxx has patented is an automated system whereby the addresses that we use in our database and that are the course published addresses are specifically aligned with the coordinates for the course, thereby providing a two-way or verification that the coordinates for the address correspond with the. And so we're already just about completely through our 40,000 course database. And from there, I want to talk next about what's the next step. What you're looking at here is the yardage marker, and they come in many shapes and sizes and colors, as we all know. And obviously many distances. Here's 150, here's 100, 378. We're never quite sure what they are, and we're never quite sure where they'll be. And sometimes they're rectangular, and sometimes they're circular, There's a lot of shapes and sizes, but one of the cool things about them is oftentimes they can be seen within golf course imagery. And so that's what I want to talk about today. Because any point within a golf course's imagery that we can see while we're mapping are reasonably permanent. And these in-ground yardage markers are one example. The corner of a tennis court is another example, or the corner of a rectangular swimming pool is another example, such that it's visible and it's on the property where the course is. So there's something unique about these that's different than a green center or a green front or a green back. And that is that it's very specifically identifiable, and it's small enough that if we're able to, so as you're aware, in GolfTraxx we have the notion of extras. And these extras can be for things such as you're on the tee and you want to know how far it is to the 150-yard marker. Well, GolfTraxx does the calculation for you. And so from the tee, you find out on a 350-yard hole, you got 199 yards to get to the 150-yardage marker. Okay, great. Well, that pretty well makes sense. It aligns, it's consistent with the length of the hole, assuming that the yardage marker was placed correctly, 150 from the center of the green, then everything's good. But what we've all seen more than a few times is something's gone haywire. Either the hole distance is not correct, or the yardage marker was placed in the wrong spot, or perhaps the markers, the place marks that we've captured in our database for holes are off by virtue of the fact that the map, which is overlaid over terra firma, was not overlaid properly. So with place marks, the next step for the wireframe Hubspoke is to identify in terra firma points that we can mark as extras, such as 150 yard or 100 yard or anything visible, any yardage marker, anything that's visible as extras. And then we're going to ask the help of our golf course partners to provide RTK coordinate for these specific points. Well, what's RTK? Well, for those of you that remember when SkyCaddie went out and started mapping courses, they went out with a backpack and they were spending all day long capturing coordinates. Well, they were an early adopter of that technology, and certainly RTK has, some value. It's what is enabling 1-inch precision for farming techniques these days in high precision farming for spraying, for seeding and such. And so the application here relative to Google Mapping is to remove the offset, which is caused by the mislaying of the satellite imagery over terra firma. So let's say, for example, that we've got coordinates for this 150-yard marker, and it's small enough that if we capture RTK coordinates for this position, that we can then apply the correction not just to this marker, but to everything nearby. And what RTK says is precision is possible up 6 miles from where you're taking the measure. And so if there's an RTK compatible receiver, and as long as there's an RTK station within 6 miles, you're going to get 1-inch precision, or as long as you're using one of these RTK services. So with the simple collection of RTK points for a handful of these markers on a course, we can ensure that no matter what they do with the shifting nature of their maps, that we'll always know what's the accurate readings based upon where we captured them to be, and simply adjust everything across the image by the exact same.